Welcome to the HR Happy Hour work break. You're here with Trish and Steve. Hey, Steve Bose.
Hey, Trish. How are you today? You expected a longer answer, maybe, because you went right to the drink? And I just said, hey.
I'm thirsty. It's live. It's late in the day. It's been a long day.
It is late in the day. It has been a long. Wednesday is grueling.
What can I say?
Grueling day, Trish. So I want to tell a quick story. I was looking for some documents today, like paper types of documents, and I did find
that sounds really formal. Looking for documents.
It's awful. It's a horrible, awful story. But so I was looking in a particular, like an old kind of file box I had around. I've been toting around with me from move to move to move over the years, Trish. And in said box, I found a couple of photos. This is just one that I found. I'll hold it up for you. Please tell me if you recognize this photo.
I don't think I've ever seen that photo, Steve.
Well, do you recognize maybe where this photo may have been taken a number of years ago? About 10, probably.
Is that in Portsmouth? It looks like
England. You win, Trish. This picture was taken at pitch side at the beginning of the Portsmouth FC versus Stoke City game that you and I and a number of other folks were allowed to attend and be VIPs for. We were given jerseys. I'm wearing my Portsmouth FC jersey that I have. I've kept all these years. So when I was looking for this document and I saw this picture, I'm like, oh, wow, what a great memory that was. And so I figured, let me go find my shirt.
Where did you get that picture?
I don't know. I guess it was long enough ago, Trish, that people still printed pictures. Maybe I had a camera back. I don't really remember. Now
I've never seen that picture
on our phones. I had a couple of them, actually. They're both taken from the same kind of vantage point. We were allowed to stand on the pitch during the pregame introductions.
Yeah.
Portsmouth is in the blue. They played Stoke City that day. Portsmouth actually lost the game. And it was actually Portsmouth's last season in the top level of English football was the season we saw them. They got relegated that season. And they've been relegated again, Trish. So they're now in the third division of English soccer. They're still playing in that old stadium. That the stadium's called Fratton Park. Yeah, it's called Fratton Park.
That's
and for folks in the U.S. who may not be familiar, basically it'd be like the Wrigley Field or the Fenway Park of soccer. Yeah. It's like a 100-plus-year-old stadium. It's falling apart. But we had a great time because our friends from Job Site took care of us. We were in the VIP club. We had drinks. We had a meal. After the game,
got to meet the players.
Yeah, after the game, Trish, they asked me to pick the man of the match and meet him and take a photo with him. So it's pretty fun and exciting. So shout out to Job Site. Then I figured it's been a while. Jobsite.co.uk is still active. That's where you look for jobs in the UK. It's right here. I'm going to look for one right now. I'm going to look for one right now. See if I can find something.
You're going to look for a job right now? No. So we were there with Bill Borman, Felix Wetzel, Jessica Miller-Merrill, Brian Wempen was there. I'm trying to remember who else was there.
You're going to remember better than me all the folks who were there. I do remember there was a bunch of us. We got on the train from London, went down to Portsmouth, and went to the game.
That was so fun, except I don't know if you remember, so a lot of us, we were told we're going to this sporting event. And so many of us dressed in sweatshirts and
jeans and sneakers. Yeah.
Sporting type clothing, but definitely here's a tip for anyone going over there. If you're going to the VIP section, you cannot be dressed in sporting type clothing. You have to be in nice clothing. And so whatever their equivalent of Walmart is, remember this? And we had to we went to some store and I
had to buy shoes, I remember, because I was wearing sneakers.
I had to buy heels. And the only heels, because I didn't know what size I wore, like in the British UK sizes or whatever. So I was like trying on all these. They were like purple snakeskin heels.
Classic. Are you still wearing those around?
No, but you know what? Those turned out to be really fun, like dress-up shoes for my daughter when she was really little. So anyway, what a fun memory. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad you found it.
Shout out to Portsmouth FC. Shout out to Job Site and our friends over there. Hopefully we'll get back there. And it still remains, Trish, and I'm such a huge soccer fan, it remains the one and only top-level English soccer game I've ever attended in person, still, all these years later.
Really?
I hope to go to one next season.
Very nice. I think I saw Manchester United and Chelsea, I believe.
Lovely.
Yeah,
That's
so
great
I've
time.
seen two. I've seen two games, but anyway, well, it's exciting. Well, I had a big day. Today was the day my daughter got braces. So,
Mm.
but listen, I know lots of people get braces. I've had braces. I'm actually getting braces back on here in a little bit. But what I want to ask you if you've heard of is she got 3D printed brackets. Have you even heard of this?
I got to tell you, I'm behind on my Orthodontics Today podcast. I'm about 12 in
Are you?
backlogged in my.
No, I'm being serious. It's amazing to me how many things can be made with a 3D printer nowadays. But anyway, long story short, if you imagine your tooth is kind of curved and a regular bracket is straight, so there would be gaps. A 3D printed bracket is curved just exactly to match your tooth. So they do all the sizing, and so it actually works more quickly
On that
in
3D
straightening your
printing,
teeth.
where do you get the toner? Is that like you run to Office Depot? Is that a specialty product? It must be.
Yeah,
Right? It's got to be
that is,
something.
you guessed it exactly. Yeah.
Trish, real
No,
quick
so
before we get
anyway,
to
I
the
just
end
thought
of
it
the
was really
show,
cool.
I want to make sure we don't forget because we forgot this yesterday. We forgot to mention our podcast
Okay.
with Amy Wilson and Meg Bear from SAP
Oh,
Success Factors that posted yesterday morning, and I completely forgot to
yeah,
mention it on this show yesterday. So that's out there. It's on the feed. It was a really good show, really fun time.
it
Meg and Amy
was.
are awesome. Two of the best women, two of the best leaders, period. Forget women leaders, right? Who
I
cares?
was just gonna say,
Two of the best
you know
leaders,
what?
period, in tech, and we're lucky enough to call them friends and long time folks we've known for a long time in the space. So check that show out.
Yeah, I would say too, if you have used, I won't even list the places they've worked, but if you have used large, large vendor HR technology in your career, I guarantee that Meg Bear and Amy Wilson have played a role
They have
in
influenced
whatever,
that
like that's
software.
fair to say, right? And so, yes, they are with SAP Success Factors now, but yes, so just super innovators. I mean, like legit. And just
Yeah,
really cool women too. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, they're pretty
they're
awesome.
fun, easy to talk to. And so the show was really good for that reason because they're so natural and it just wasn't stuffy. You might expect that product things are sometimes stuffy.
Yeah,
Give it a
really
listen.
cool.
It was good.
So I did one other thing today when I took a little break earlier.
What's that?
Lots going on. So you're familiar with like either Facebook or BuzzFeed quizzes, like
No, never.
which Friends character would you be friends with in real life?
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So
Are
I
you
did
doing
one today.
quizzes?
I did a higher end one today a little bit, Trish, and this is a real website you can go to and take
Oh
the quiz if
no.
you're so inclined. It's called "Which famous economist are you most similar to?.com."
That sounds really boring.
24 questions. Some of them were really hard. Like I wasn't really even sure I
Okay.
understood the questions. There were questions about tax policy and opening
Really?
and shutting down the economy policies, kids back in school versus remote learning types of things.
Mhm.
A few questions that were really interesting about what your thoughts were about regulation or breaking up of big tech. Like one of the questions was
Oh,
specifically, should Facebook be forced to spin off WhatsApp and Instagram because that would be a good thing, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
So I did the whole thing and I got my match, which is an economist named James Stock, who I'd never heard of, but he's a professor currently of economics at
Oh,
Harvard. But it was
okay.
super cool. The thing that was cool about it was there was like a graph, like in real time, two axes of the graph, probably like liberal, conservative, free market.
Yeah, yeah.
And every time you answered the question, you could see your little red dot move around this little
Oh
graph
God.
until you got to the end and saw where you were. So if you're so inclined, which famous economist are you most similar to.com? I recommend it. It was a fun, like 9 minutes of my day today.
Okay, well, I think that's great. I'm going to make a note of that. That sounds super fun. You know what? I've done that too. I don't think I did it this year for the election, but typically in the past I've done it because you might think that you are leaning one way or another, and sometimes when you
One might
actually go
think that.
issue by issue, you might surprise yourself where you change or just seeing like what's more important to you. So it sounds like that's a quiz like that too, a little bit, right? Seeing kind of
Yeah.
where you stand on things that maybe you don't normally think about on a daily basis. So
Yeah.
interesting.
I was kind of hoping I'd land with like a name brand economist, if you will, like
I don't
Keynes
feel like
or
you're a name brand kind of guy.
yeah. So I dig into it a little bit, but I thought it was fun.
Well, good. Well, listen, hey, it sounds like you had a good day. I know you've been busy with a lot of client work, as I was too. And so thanks for making time for a late afternoon break.
One last thing, Gamecocks women's basketball, they did win their game last night. They are in the Final Four, playing on Friday night against Stanford.
There we go. We're going to all root for them.
Go Gamecocks.
Go Gamecocks. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in, listening, tweeting us every single day. We will see you back here tomorrow.
Shout out to the job site.
Shout out to the job site. Bye for now.